So trust comes from qualifiers. What we wear are qualifiers. What we drive are qualifiers. Where we live are qualifiers. Like people network with people that are like them. So generally, the reason networking works well if it's very targeted, like, hey, this is a real estate conference, is because the qualifiers, you have to be in real estate, right? The reason networking works at a watch trading conference for us is because the qualifier is you have to be a watch trader or have a watch, right? Like so people have a common interest and that becomes the qualifier. The level of qualifier defines the level of trust. So people identify trust in their life based on the qualifiers they can identify with. So in other words, a poor person may identify a qualifier with a Lamborghini, period. Like anything that is a Lamborghini badge is going to be a qualifier for a poor person because they don't understand money anyways, right? So they see a Lamborghini badge, they see an aspirational message for themselves. They said, this is what I want too. This person has what I want. I heard I should take advice only from people who I would trade shoes with. I want a Lamborghini. I want to know what this guy does. They don't know how to qualify because they don't understand money. So that's why people fall for scams. Typically what we teach at Exotic Car Hacks Watch Trading Academy is how to read money. So a big part of it is you know when someone's wearing an AP that there are levels to the game. There's a 10K AP and there's $1 million AP. You know, which one is that guy wearing? Does it make sense? And these qualifiers have to add up. Like, we can always know someone's wearing a fake watch when they're wearing a $600,000 Richard Mille and driving a Mercedes E-Class. We know that doesn't make sense, like, because these qualifiers aren't aligned, right? Like, we know in order of importance, someone that lives in a crappy apartment, drives a normal E-Class, is not going to wear a watch that is 3 times, or I should say 15 times the price of a car and 3 times the price of their apartment. You know, like, it doesn't make sense. So trust comes from aligning your qualifiers and making sure that people realize that there isn't something missing. Meaning, if you see my $20 million car collection and then you say, well, but he lives in a crappy 1-bedroom apartment, well, that wouldn't be a qualifier. It would be a distrust item, right? However, if you say, well, PJ has multiple homes and he has this, and I've also seen, I've seen his cars, I've seen his jets, I've seen his watches, everything lines up. Everything is aligned to the point where it's like, yeah, well, everything makes sense. Like, he has these kind of watches, but he has this kind of cars, and he's a watch and car guy. So the qualifiers are the key. And often the guys that basically fail at creating trust are the guys who aren't authentic, because those aren't their qualifiers. Basically, they're borrowing qualifiers or they're buying them temporarily. Like, I know Forex traders that are buying expensive cars, but they don't have the credit to own these cars. So they're buying short-term leases to basically drive them for 3 months, do 10 years of content basically in those 3 months, then get rid of the cars. So they're basically borrowing the cars. Those aren't their qualifiers. They're pretending to qualify at a level they're not, right? But you can tell this in 2 seconds, because if you look at their house, if you look at the neighborhood, if you look at the other cars they have, right? Like their carry costs, it doesn't line up. And you know, one of the reasons you know how someone's qualifier is wrong is also based on where they acquire these qualifiers from. For example, like someone getting a qualifier from a buy here, pay here car lot, you know, just because they can't have the credit, tells you everything you need to know that they don't qualify for that. They're trying to basically be in a place they don't. They're not interested in actually being the person, so they don't want to fix their credit, have the right down payment. They just want the item, so they're trying to, in an unauthentic way, qualify for something they're not. And that's where this trust comes in, and people go, that's a scammer, or that's shady, or that doesn't make sense, you know? That's one of the reasons I always expose my titles, show my license plates, and I go, these are my cars registered to me. Here are my titles. That's $20 million in titles. Like, you can't fake that. The quality of your character isn't going to be seen by people without the qualifiers. So you have to think of this as you're trying to get in a club. You might be an excellent dancer and the funnest guy, and everyone in that club is going to be glad they let you in the door, right? But you're not going to get in that club if the bouncer thinks you're broke, you dress like a hobo, and basically don't fit in to the crowd they want. So even though your character might be flawless, you might be the best dancer, the most fun guy, you might spend hundreds of thousands on drinks and, you know, be the life of the party, and everybody should be kissing your ass once you leave that because it was the best night of their life. It doesn't matter if before you even get in the club, people don't let you in. And that's basically the ideology, is that people don't realize that qualifiers matter, that they like it or not. And there's the other side of it. There's the other side of it where people are like, well, who cares then? It wasn't worth. Well, you're only hurting yourself by avoiding it. You're not hurting other people, you're hurting you. Because the club is missing out, right, from you being in there, but the club will go on. And your existence will also go on. But what's going to happen that night is you're not going to have a good time because you're not going to get in the club, right? So, but that club will be there tomorrow, and another life at a partier guy will be at that door dressed correctly, and he'll get in, get it? And he'll make the party work. And what I try to tell people is that you can ignore society all you want, but you can't ignore the fact that the equalizer in society is money. Every country, every single place, it's always money. So it doesn't matter that you like money, believe you should be rich, believe you should showcase you're rich or not. At the end of the day, if society doesn't like you, if society doesn't want you, and if you're not respecting society, like in the sense that you're not participating, then you can't win. You're only adding years and years to your own failure.